Chapter 5, Hero Costume. I try to think how I can fight villains. I have a thought that I can use support items if I don't have a quirk. I start to mumble to myself ideas. I need something that can restrain but not kill. I start drawing up blueprints after blueprints. Looking over my notes on heroes and villains, looking at the support equipment on the use and the theory behind it, along with the help from online support rooms specializing in equipment and books on physics and other related items. I create a draft on the support item I can use. I start to create a route on tech companies specializing in hero support items every few days. They get rid of their junk at the end of the day. I check it after everyone has left, grabbing bits and pieces that I could find. One day, a person was working overtime on one of their projects. They asked who I was and what the hell I was doing. I told them that my friend is an aspiring hero, but he has a problem controlling the temperature he puts out. She understood me and even gave me advice on how to use sensors to help detect body changes, from temperature to muscles. Because of the notes they wrote for me, I have a better understanding on how to implement sensors for my support item. I can't create something scratch, but I can repurpose the parts thrown away, fix them and make them better. Weeks pass and then months. I finally have a prototype on my equipment. I just need one more part. I managed to salvage nickel and titanium from certain components. I make a makeshift crucible and melt it down. Using accurate ratios, over time, through trial and error, I create a type of nitinol compound. I separate it into small threads, twisting and braiding it into a small wire. These wires were almost the size of a thread. I tried to make it as small as possible. When I did this, I then started the braiding process, which strengthened the wire whilst keeping the original flexibility and properties. This wire is light, extremely flexible, and has a muscle memory effect. This allows for accurate movements. I connect the wire to a pair of heavy-duty gloves in order to prevent friction on my skin. The prototype works by sensing muscle contractions in my hand, wrist, and forearm through sensors detecting muscle contractions for accurate information. This information is then relayed to a computer. Through certain contractions, it's sent through a macro to perform certain movements with the wire through electrical impulses from a battery. It can revert to its original form through temperature, as it's one of the properties of nitinol. Because of this, it's possible to superheat the wire, to also tighten and constrict movement. This allows for the wires to move based on my muscle control. During this process, I kept up my strength training. I also applied for UA, however I've heard nothing back from them. Of course, you need a quirk and refer to help you get past the application stage. I will show them that I can be a hero. I spend weeks and even more time practicing the movements of the wire. There are of course bugs, such as the friction affecting the other structures, causing it to freeze up. I added more mechanism and changed the macros around in order to correct these bugs. Some even to the point of changing the materials, as it might not able to handle the friction of the wire. I added a temperature control device in the wire coil in order to prevent the nitinol from randomly retracting to its original form because of the friction. This process took the most time in order to fix. I start to alter my workout routine in order to include the gloves. This is so that I can gain more improvement with it whilst doing free range exercises. I begin simply by grabbing objects and pulling them towards me, retracting the wires in the process. I could count dozens if not hundreds of bottles that I have smashed in the process. One accident with my muscle control can completely change what I want to do with the gloves. Even when I start the exercises, I accidentally trigger the gloves. Because of this, I decided to add a safety mechanism for when I'm trying to do something else. This is a simple switch on top of each of the gloves. Pressing allows for the wires to start to move under my control. Slowly, I got better with them. Each day, improvements rise, and my failures start to get smaller and smaller. To the point where my mistakes are related to something other than me, such as an external stimulus or a bug within the programming. Along with the support gloves, I created a black and green suit in order to support and augment my abilities. Lightweight but strong material to act as defense for if I were attacked by a villain, and a small exoskeleton to temporarily enhance my abilities. This uses an extreme amount of energy from the core, so it can only be used for a few seconds to be able to dodge. If the energy wears out, I won't be able to use my gloves either, so it's for emergency situations. The orange core that supplies my gloves and maneuver gear, it's the weakest point on my hero costume, so it's covered with a protective layer of the leftover titanium I used for the wire, to cover it to the point where it can't be damaged by villains. This part weighs me down, so I need to take it into account when maneuvering. And finally, I created a face mask to protect myself. It's a full-faced mask with a smile drawn onto it like All Might's to give people hope. The mask itself is made from a bulletproof glass, tinted on the outside in order to not show my face. The costume itself is dark, mixed with green. It's black in order to camouflage myself, in order to stop villains at night. I don't like breaking the law, but in order to become a hero, I need to prove myself. The easiest way to do that is through vigilantism. Chapter 6: Design Work. Months have passed since the incident. The numerous hero academies that I applied for, none of them have gotten back to me. I guess it's expected. I have no experience, no references, and no quirk. As I continue to think about the past few months whilst working on my support item, mainly making sure they are synced up and other routine checks, I notice a certain knock at my door. It was my mom. "Sweetie, can I talk to you about something?" She has a serious look on her face as if the world is crashing down. "Sure, what is it?" I say whilst putting down my soldering iron and mask. I think it might be best if, she continues to stutter over her words as she tried to make out a sentence. I think it might be best if you look for some part-time work. I look at her in surprise as she usually left me alone to do my own thing, occasionally checking if I was alright. I guess me not getting into a hero academy didn't just get to me but her as well. I can guess why she wants me to get a job. If my dreams were crushed and I didn't know what to do, I'd probably do the same thing as mom. I spoke to an old friend of mine working at a hero agency. She works in the design department. I just thought, because you recently have been infatuated with design, you might want to try interning there? An old friend? I've never heard about her friends. Was she too busy with me to worry about them? Or did my mom go to different agencies and beg for an internship? I'm not sure at this point, but I can tell her request comes from a good place. If I get an internship, I might be able to improve my gloves as well. Really? That sounds great. I put up a great smile in response. She looked slightly relieved as if she was expecting me to decline it. You still have to go for an interview, though. That's fine with me as long as I can be of help to someone. I gleam with the fakest smile possible. We continue talking about the date and the job requirements as an intern. The interview is scheduled in a few days. I decided to bring one of my other prototypes for my boot supports as to convince them to accept me. The boots are almost completely shock absorbent. They use a special metal with vibration tech to distribute the impact. This was supposed to be made with the exoskeleton, however the boots themselves are a bit too large and bulky for standard use. It's more than enough as a proof of concept though. The interview itself is taking place as Hosa City. I managed to get there, with time to spare. I dress in a tidy shirt with a black strip tie. I wore a suit vest over it. Maybe it was too formal? The idea of improving my equipment to make myself a better hero is just too good of an opportunity to give up. I step into the room with two interviewers looking at me strictly as if I'm wasting their time. The interview starts as I am given questions straight away. What experience do you have in regard to design and what are your duties as an equipment engineer? Is your question regarding my previous experience or my current and future experience after this interview? Both. A lot of my time is devoted to creating and designing equipment. If I were to list my previous work experience, I couldn't as I have been working independently for a while now. Here is a blueprint of some of my current designs, trying to implement new concepts that not many people have experimented with before. I also have a prototype with me. Do you do any research relating to your work in this field? I have a lot of notes in regard to my research and the practicality relating to it. I have also received some support in terms of knowledge from the Daggery Hero Design Branch. Both the interviewers look at me in surprise. I guess they weren't expecting me to list support from a major design branch. I put forwards my notes, with the writing and signature of the paper. The notes themselves were more like a thesis. It was very useful in terms of knowledge with sensory applications. They look at my blueprints and have a sense of shock as they realize the applications that my proof of concept can bring. It can also stabilize the body for unstable quirks or work as armor for powerful quirks like All Mights, although when it comes to All Might, if you use this concept you'd probably still get blown away. They continue with the questions, asking some such as what qualities should hero engineers possess and what characteristics they shouldn't have. I continue to diligently answer and confident with a sly smile on my face, becoming more and more confident after each question. Shortly afterwards, the interview ends with a complete contrast from a waste of time to genuine surprise on their faces. I'm not sure if this is enough to become an intern without going through a design hero course, but I am confident I answered to the best of my abilities. Night soon came as I contacted my mom that there is an issue with the trains, and that I am going to look for a hotel today. I take off my backpack and open it up, slowly unzipping it, revealing my gloves and suit prototypes. Hosa City is a massive city with many alleyways and buildings. One by one I start to put on my hero costume if I can just prove myself. I can become a hero in the future. I say to myself, dressed in black and green with a great amount of resolve. Let's begin. As delusional as I was back then, I don't regret anything. For everything that happened I can only be amused with myself. I laugh to myself as I sit alone at an empty bar. Looking into the corner, a dark silhouette of where someone strapped to a chair, unconscious sits. I look at him in the corner as I say with a wicked smile on my face. Fufufu, isn't that right? Katsuki-kun? Chapter 7, A True Hero? I search the streets of Hosu, looking through alleys, hidden spots anywhere where I might find something. I climb to a room with my gloves to get a better vantage point. I zip from building to building. Nothing around, the streets are quiet. Maybe I should have gotten a radar or a police radio to assist me. Oh well, too late now. I continue to scour the streets. In the distance in the main road, I spot a car being smashed into, the person who was asleep dragged out by his arms by two other people. One was dressed in a gray robe, the other was completely encased in a black substance. It must be his quirk as it starts to ooze off him. I quickly jump from the small building, using my wires to scratch the walls and cling to them, one on each side. Slowly falling down as marks from my gloves almost like slashes, leaving it ingrained into the wall. I sprint over to the side alley where the man was dragged off to. As I approach the alley, find that the two people are beating the man senseless. I quickly shoot my wire, grab the arm of one of them as they are about to punch into him. Stop! I shouted, getting their attention. A brat like you wants to save the day? Isn't it a bit late to be playing hero, kid? I ignore their remarks as I pull myself forwards with my wire, sliding past and redirecting the gray rogue man, so that he punched the black ooze. It was like acid as burns started to appear on his hand. Gaga, as he screams out in pain. Among the black ooze there were spots his acid didn't cover. I aimed for those spots, not using my wire as I feared it would melt. 1, 2, 3. I struck him hard 3 times, causing him to vomit black ooze. The other man gets over his pain as he charges towards me, making his side of his arm sharp like a sword. A weapon-based quirk? I dodged the sword desperately, barely avoiding it. He continued his swing and made a mark into the wall. Small pieces of my hair were cut. A 2-on-1 fight. Both of their quirks stops me from using my wire to the best I can. His quirk is strong, it made a large scar in the wall, it's not like a simple knife. I charge forward, to the point where they were both ready to counterattack. I jump upwards, hooking onto a fire escape ladder and with my other wire, hooking it on the railing. I pull my arm downwards hard, forcing the ladder to fly off its hinges and slams into the rogue man. He violently smashes into the ground as the ladder hits him. He doesn't seem to be getting up. I charge my wire with my energy core, making it glow brightly with heat. I swing my wires almost like a wipe, straight into the ooze. The acidity didn't melt the other guy's arm, so it should be fine against titanium wire. As I strike him with the wire, the heat expands as it starts to boil, to the point of the entirety of the acid started to bubble. He screamed in pain as he melts under his own quirk. I quickly cool him off as I don't want to kill anybody. My energy core is running low as I switched from the two extremes of heat. Unknowingly for me, someone's eyes locked onto me. They started to sprint towards me from the main street. It was someone dressed in full support gear. He starts shouting as he ran towards me. It was clearly a hero. I think it's a small hero known as Groundhog. I had a relieved expression as I thought he would take them in for their crimes. Before I realize it, he traps my feet in earth, stopping me from moving. Before I could do anything, he continues to charge and I am slammed in the face with his fist, covered in rocks. Shards of rock splinter everywhere. I couldn't do anything as I started to black out from the pain. I think my skull is fractured and my nose is broken. Blood starts to drip as I wince in pain. He starts shouting again. Vile villain, you should know that you will never get your way. For what you did to these three, I will make you pay. Villain? I wanted to be a hero. Why is he calling me a villain? Tears leaked on the edge of my eyes as the man started speaking proudly. I wanted to be a hero. I came here to be a hero. I helped save that person. Why am I taking all the blame for it? Why am I the one suffering for their deeds? As my eyes fill with hate, a voice from the shadows emerge. Interesting. Who are you? Before he could finish his sentence, he was grazed by a knife. The figure from the shadows emerged quickly, so fast that I couldn't even see what was happening. Before I realized it, the hero fell to the ground. The person who did it walked up slowly to him, saying, "You're just a fake." As he brings his knife down, stabbing into the back of the hero. As he put on a wicked smile in satisfaction, he says, "That makes 13. Before I realized what he meant, he appeared in front of me looking down at me. He said with a grimness in his voice, "You are interesting. You act like hero but treated like filth." He's right. Every hero I've met treated me like an outcast, the ones from the sludge incident, that Earth hero, and even All Might. Join me. I can train you. I can make you into a true hero. What did he see in me that would make him want to train me? But I want to become a hero. I'm badly wounded. He'd probably kill me if I refuse. I'm quirkless. He stays silent for a moment as he starts to grin widely. He laughs silently to himself as he says, "You are even better than I imagined. You managed to deal with them without a quirk, and you want to be a hero without a quirk. I never said anything about wanting to be a hero. How could he tell? My offer still stands. He's willing to train someone like me? Even if it doesn't help him? He's willing to train me. Extend a hand. Give me hope. Why is a villain more like a hero than an actual hero? I can't understand him at all." I think about it for a little bit longer as I say, "Please, make me into a true hero." He smiles at my response as he says under his breath, "Follow me. You can call me Stain." Chapter 8, Stain. Stain's POV. I watch amongst the shadows, leaning in to see two men dragging a man away. It's not my problem. I just need to find those fakes. Before I can turn away, I hear a screeching sound, the sound of metal rubbing against metal. As I look over, I see a young kid not too far from me scaling the building with a metal wire. Is that his quirk? Is he a hero? Unconsciously, a deep grin filled my face as I start to lick my blade. He starts running across the street, completely oblivious about his surroundings. He isn't a hero. Is he a vigilante? The boy immediately runs after the men, without any care for himself. What is he doing it for? Why is he trying to save them? He's too young to be a hero. My mind starts to flood with thoughts as I move to the next building to get a closer look. The kid suddenly shouts to get their attention, trying to stop them from going after that man. For what reason? The two men start to laugh at the boy. Even before I could notice, the boy quickly injures one of the men. His moves are sluggish. He must be new. As I watch closer and closer, I see the boy continue to use those wires. Is that really his quirk? Or is it equipment? When will he use it? Is he just playing around with them? He quickly flies up towards me, as he grabs on the handrail a few stories below me. He grabs hold of the ladder and throws it down at them. He doesn't get back up again. He starts to glow orange as his wire starts to glow as well. He strikes the using man. Soon after, he drops him to the ground. Before I can react, a man sprints out of the shadows. I know him. He's a fake. Groundhog. I will get rid of all of these fakes. I will purge him. The young boy gets slammed into. He could have avoided it? I look closer and see his feet are trapped. I start to think to myself, it's time to act. I jump down from the fire escape towards that fake. Interesting, I say as I look towards the boy. Who are yo? I quickly slash at him, cutting his cheek. As I continue to fly by, I lick the side of his face, paralyzing him. Kakaka, I smile with delight as I look at the hero and the young boy. He stares at me with no fear in his eyes. You're just a fake. Heroes like you shouldn't even be heroes. You can't tell the difference between a villain and a vigilante? HAAA. I put on a wicked smile as I look towards the hero, readying my knife. I plunge it into his back as I count. That makes 13. I finish off the fake, with a satisfied expression on my face. Now, for the boy, I move quickly in front of the boy. He flinched as he reacted to my speed. You are interesting, you act like hero but treated like filth. Why would someone like him want to be a hero? Why didn't he use his quirk? He was interesting, I want him. I can make him better, I can make him into someone worthy to be a hero. Join me. I can train you, I can make you into a true hero. The boy stays quiet for a few seconds, slightly annoying. He starts mumbling to himself as I barely can make out what he says. He's afraid. Before I can convince him to join me, he shouts, I'm quirkless. What did he say? Ha! Ha 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 ha, this boy is so interesting. My eyes didn't deceive me, he runs into a fight without fear, he runs in without a quirk. I want him to join me even more. His heroic nature, I can make him into a hero, like me. You are even better than I imagined. You managed to deal with them without a quirk and you want to be a hero without a quirk. He has a slightly startled expression. He stays quiet, I scratch the back of my head as I say. My offer still stands. Him not having a quirk means that he has to rely on himself, he might have the potential to become somebody great. He stays silent to my words until. Please, make me into a true hero. I smile widely as he accepts my invitation. I can make him better. Follow me. You can call me Stain. I'm going to meet up with some people in a few days. They keep pestering me, I now have a reason to accept it. Come with me, I can show you what this society is really like, what these heroes are really like. They are fakes. The kid stays silent as he considers my offer, he smiles as he says. If you can train me to be a hero, I won't refuse. Good. I will find you in a few days, what's your name? My name is Izuku Midoriya, you can call me Deku if you want. That's an odd name, why would someone aspiring to be a hero choose that? Deku? You want to be known as someone who is useless? Someone who can't do anything? No. For me, Deku means that I vow that I will never be that type of person again. This kid, he really is something, what did he have to go through as a quirkless? Here. I say as I pass him a note, with the location I'm going to. Come to this location, same time 4 days from now. I will find you then. If he's with me, I can show him what villains are really like. From what I know, they are organizing an attack, they have been trying to reach out to me, but up until now, I didn't have a reason to accept it. If I can show him, he can become a better hero in the future. Of course. I retreat back into the shadows, diminishing my presence. I smile as I think to myself, he will really become somebody interesting.